And by teaching ourselves first by the guide of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, in the message brought to us by the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we tend to strengthen our will, to strengthen our nefes, to put together, to connect our mind and our hearts, so we can be our one single entity. Because one of the differences that I see of Islam and other religions is that it only promotes one aspect of humanity, because human beings are so complex and that we cannot be defined. Even if we're trying to explain something, we have to go through a lot of subjects to just go through the same point. So human beings are so complex and they're so diverse, and we are made of so many things, that I feel like every other religion focuses only on one or two, and Islam takes care of the whole aspect, and you have to take care of the whole aspect. So it's not like you go into Islam and you become a perfect human being. You go into Islam to help yourself become a good human being, to be a human being, because to be a human being, you are. They teach us in Islam, human beings are upper than angels, because angels are perfect beings, but they don't have emotions. They cannot love like we do. They cannot appreciate the simple aspects of having feelings for your family, for your friends, or for a loved one, which will be your partner. So to be a human being is to dominate this whole aspects of our heart, and to take our intelligence, our logic, and our intellect into one single aspect. So to go back to our topic of Islamic art, I feel like this aspect of Islamic art is the same reflection of the things I am mentioning as the mind and the heart, because it strikes you to what is beautiful. Every time you see something in Islamic art, it will generate a feeling that it's something beautiful. It's something made to the eye and to the heart. But at the same time, it has so many study, and it has so many aspects of design and intellect, that it goes even through various readings and aspects of how to view, how to appreciate this art. In one case, you can immediately distinguish that Islamic art, apart from being unique and beautiful, it has this structure, which it uses geometry. It uses geometry in a sense that it is an homage. It is a direct direct response to what we view, or to what we see in the nature and the creation of Allah. If you see a flower, if you see a detail on a rock, or even on the human skin, or on the fur of an animal, we will see that there are patterns and there are details that will guide you through the beauty of the Creator. The Creator is all aware and is all knowing, and when He creates something in symmetry and in direct flow and aspects of being subtle and simple and complex at the same time. So when we humans, we see this in the nature, we see this in the world, we want to thank Allah, we want to worship Allah in our own ways, and what we do, we just take these patterns that we see in the nature, and we try to convey them in two dimensions, which could be a paper, a piece of a rock, or a wall. And we would, in this case in Islamic art, they would try to integrate the beauty of geometry and the complexity of geometry. So in this case, it puts together both things. It puts together the complexity of the human mind. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for the human being and for the nature itself. We are both creations, and by using this language of art, we tend to acknowledge and to worship our Creator at the same time. So it's something you will not find in another aspect of art. If you take this to the Western style of art, or the mainly Occidental style of art, you would find that the human is first. You would find that the human emotions, or the human body, or the human mind is first, and it doesn't acknowledge the Creator in a way, because we have so many movements in art, in the history of art, that you cannot say it completely takes aside the Creator. But for an instance, for a general aspect, or for a general view, you would feel isolated in taking taking appreciation of Western art, because it is the study of the human being. And by studying the human being, like I said before, we are so complex and so diverse. We can study the artistic aspects of the mind, to study the artistic aspect of the heart, to study the artistic aspects of our perception. So these are so many different things that we will have different art results. So in a way, these aspects of art in the Western societies are not equal to Islamic art, and Islamic art touches this because other forms of art by native cultures also reach this. It is a common proof that, for instance, native people in Australia, or the native people of America or Africa, they tend to go through this process of creating similar to Islamic art. So you can deduce that to worship the creation is totally different than to worship the Creator. So by human beings taking the time to appreciate a flower, to appreciate the night sky, or the stars and the moon, you would know that all of this has a certain pattern and a certain knowledge, that if you take it into expression, it comes through that we have to acknowledge the Creator. We have to acknowledge that there is one Creator, and this Creator knows everything. And by this, I am fully convinced that art in Islam is the way to speak about the future generations to come to Islam, to know, to engage in this process of taking aside the present situation, that there is misinformation about what Islam is. For instance, you would always hear that Islam is a religion of hatred and bigotry and misogyny. But if you take it like a conflict, which to me it's a direct conflict of people opposing Islam because they don't want their benefits, or they don't want to lose the power structure that they have. If we go through the history of this religious groups, they have merged with the power structures, and they want to obviously be in power for the remaining days and structures. So they tend to to give false information so they can spread their influences, and they can take control of this, of every parts of the world. But for me, Islam has the key and the knowledge to divert this and to live a life of simpleness and to